he just sent a serious message. Dylan Fairchild got his first start on Thursday in preseason and is getting high praise from Dan Pitcher, the offensive coordinator. We're going to break down what he had to say and what this offensive line could look like if he continues to take strides and improve in this offseason and well beyond. Welcome to the jungle. This is Isaac Coffman with Bengals Digest. So happy to see all you Bengals fans. We have an exciting offseason going into preseason number 2 coming up here on Monday. So if you don't want to miss any of the updates, make sure you smash that subscribe button if you have not already. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers. We appreciate each one of you. I think we can get to 3,000 before the first game, week 1 of the season. Let's make it happen, Bengals fans. We appreciate each one of you. So Thursday, we got a look at many players in our first preseason game of the year. And one player that stuck out was Dylan Fairchild, one who was just drafted this year in the 3rd round. It goes without saying with the Bengals, the offensive line has been a question mark. Outside of Orlando Brown, Ted Karras, those types of guys, the rest has been almost a rotation of different players getting that spot at left guard and right guard, and until recently, right tackle, when Amarius Mims was a rookie last year, making those strides that you would want to see. He still has to step up as well, but those guard spots are still kind of up in the air. However, the left guard position was given to rookie Dylan Fairchild, and he did not disappoint. In fact, getting a lot of praise from Dan Pitcher. He was talking about the offensive line as a whole. They had Lucas Patrick, who they had signed in the offseason, at right guard, and he had a kind of a rough night. He was around, the PFF grade had him around 55 or so. He had a few slip-ups. There was a 3rd down play that he actually got a penalty on that was in the red zone. It's just not a good play that you want to see. Something that you're hoping that he'll get that cleaned up. This was the first preseason game of the season. So you take it as it's early. Get the rust knocked off, so to say. But that didn't seem to happen with Dylan Fairchild. He actually was impressive, to say the least. If you watch that game, he was looking like a pro out there, not a rookie, really. And Dan Pitcher had some high praise. This is what he had to say when they asked him about Dylan. He said, Dylan played really well in the game. I was pleased. He played physical. He was aggressive. He and OB, Orlando Brown, had a good twist pass on the left side on a 3rd down. He was assignment sound and technically sound, and he played well. But it's a 15-play sample. Obviously, it was for the world to see, so you want your 15 plays to be good, but every day's got to be that. And so he's still going through that process of how do I play to our standard all the time. Okay, he only played about 16 snaps on Thursday, but even in that small sample, as Dan Pitcher said, he was impressed. He liked what he saw. And if you're, again, watching that game, you saw when he was in there, he was impressive. I was kind of relieved a little bit. This offensive line has been so shaky, but he was holding it down. And you can say what you will that the Eagles did not have their starters out there. They pretty much had their 2nd string out there. I don't care who you are, if it's backups or not. You're in the NFL. You need to still just lock it down at your position, no matter the position. If you're offensive line, you're on the defense, whatever. And this is why he was so impressive. When I looked up these numbers, I was actually astounded. So, like I mentioned, Lucas Patrick, he was around 55 for the PFF rating. Dylan Fairchild fared much better, 89.5 PFF across 16 snaps on Thursday. This guy, again, small sample size. It's early. We're not going to sit here and say he's going to be a Hall of Famer or anything like that. But what a breath of fresh air when you're talking about this Bengals offensive line. They need a guy like Dylan Fairchild to step up. And especially since that left guard position, who was Cordell Volson, had his struggles. They've had the struggles at that position. Really, all of the offensive line has had its ups and downs. But looking at the left guard position in particular, he's got a lot of expectations, but he is a rookie. So to come in on your first preseason game, and again, I know some might make that argument. This was 2nd string Philadelphia. They're still NFL players. And to have that high of a PFF rating, the tape showed. If you go back and watch, you just see how much of a lockdown guard he was. I'm really excited. This got me pumped to see what he can do in the next game. And Zach Taylor has come out and said that in the next game against the Commanders, that's when you're going to really see the starters start to play more. And that's what got me excited too. So hearing that from Dan Pitcher, though, that he was impressed, he was liking what he was seeing, that's great to see. That's exactly what you want. Honestly, how can he do any better? That's all I can say is he's going to be a rookie. He's going to have his lumps, but I'm really excited going forward because they're going to need all the help they can get. They need to be protecting Joe Burrow. He needs to have that protection. He is every year just one of the most pressured quarterbacks, but still he puts up the numbers. Can you just imagine Joe Burrow if he had proper protection? Not like we're seeing in these last few seasons. So something to take a look at. That's what I think all eyes are now on that next game with the Commanders. That's what Zach Taylor was talking about. You're going to see more of the starters. They kind of dipped their toe in the water with this first preseason. It's still early, and we're not putting all our high hopes on this second game. You're just going to see a little bit more sample size. That's as much as what Zach Taylor was saying for all the starters, not just certain players in particular. So Dylan Fairchild is kind of my player to watch. He's becoming that, the way he just conducted himself. And this is also interesting coming from a guy that played obviously in college. He played football, but he also was wrestling as well. And what I really like about him is his strength. That's something they've talked about, is he's just strong. Like, you cannot move this guy. And it understandably, this is going back to his high school days, but he had a record wrestling. He was 68-0 through his junior and senior years. He was a 2-time state champion. That just goes to show you the strength of this guy. And that's what they need. Now, when it comes to this offensive line long term, I have an interesting thought of what are they going to do? Because right now, that right guard, you got Lucas Patrick. Even if he is solid, he's probably going to be that 1-year rental, just kind of filling in. Other than you're going to find somebody in the draft like Dylan Fairchild. If Dylan Fairchild he continues to produce, he continues to improve, he ends up being the starter at left guard. A thought that crossed my mind is, what do you do when it comes to that center? They have waiting in the wings Matt Lee, a guy who has been flashing. He's had his injuries, but he's flashed, I should say. He's shown promise. They've had a lot of enthusiasm for him. Is he the center of the future? They also have Seth McLaughlin, who was undrafted this year, but he's getting a lot of attention because he's also coming off of injury, but probably would have been a higher pick. So it comes down to with Ted Karras. Why not slide Ted Karras into that guard position if you need to? Now, I know what you're saying. I love Ted Karras in that center position. He is a great leader. But how long are you going to have Ted Karras for? How long is he going to be in that center position? Is he going to be willing maybe to slide over to a guard position if needed? Talk about injuries, talk about guys just not able to produce if they're struggling at that position. Could Matt Lee step in? He is shown to only be a center is his position, but Ted Karras has played the guard position in the past, and he's done very well there. So it brings up some questions. Just seeing how things are set. You have your left and right tackle, as of right now, set, that you feel pretty good about. If Dylan Fairchild can lock down that left guard, now the focus is going to be on that right guard. Right now, as again, we see it, Lucas Patrick, it looks like it's really his starting job to lose at this point. Could Cody Ford challenge that? That was another talk. I don't know. It's just, that's the one uncertainty that has me unsure. I, again, love what I'm seeing with Dylan Fairchild. I really am excited to see what he'll do in the next game. Coming from, again, Georgia, he's shown he's been a solid guard. It's just a question of, can he transition that into the NFL? Well, so far with this preseason, it's a very small sample size, I understand, but you can't help but get excited. All eyes will be on him come Monday for sure. What do you think? What were your takeaways from Dylan Fairchild, or even offensive line as a whole when it comes to that preseason game? Do you think he's going to pan out as that left guard of the future? We want to hear from your thoughts. Comment below what you think of this offensive line. Do you see it taking strides and getting better? Is it about the same or not as good as you were hoping it would be? We want to hear from you guys. Comment below your thoughts. And again, if you have not subscribed already, make sure you smash that subscribe button so we can get to that 3,000 before week 1. I know we can do it, guys. Let's make it happen. So as we say, guys, that'll do it for now. As we say, who dat?